Good morning, good morning. Happy birthday to you, even if it's not your real birthday, because every day is your birthday if you choose to celebrate life. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Okay, so I've come back from my run, actually quite some time ago. I have already drunk a cup of tea, and then I've had to set up a wireless, a Wi-Fi repeater in the house because I didn't quite get a decent enough signal down here from the original router. But James, the guy who owns the house, said there was some problems with when it was set up before, so I don't know what the problem was, but it's working perfectly fine now. And I was on a Zoom call yesterday, and it kept cutting out when I was sat down here, and I wanted to be able to have this view, yay, from my little porch behind me when I was on my Zoom calls. So it was kind of annoying not to be able to talk to people properly while I was sitting out here. So anyway, here I am. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to me, in fact. Only one person whose real birthday is today, Jane Summers. Happy birthday to you. Haven't had much interaction with you since we first connected, but hello anyway. So what was the title of today's? So I did try and do a live from way down the other end of the island, but then realised I had no signal at all. So yeah, there's obviously that problem. But now I've got the Wi-Fi here, I'm going to have to do this. And I actually forgot to do my live because I'm so used to coming back from the run, having finished the live, have my cup of tea and then go and have a shower. I forgot all about it. So I was sort of sitting here just thinking, oh, I better go and have a shower now. And then I thought, oh, I haven't done my live yet. So here I am doing my live. Hello, viewer, by the way. I can't quite see who that is, but I hope you're enjoying the view that I've got here today. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll flip the camera around from here, which is the actual view I've got. So this is the actual view I've got from my little veranda. It's just beautiful, isn't it? Gosh. Cool. So anyway, the line that came out today was actually a quote that I posted yesterday. I think it was on on a repost rather, of something from 9/11 that someone posted. And it was a condensed version of something I've written before, which is we become the stories that we continuously tell ourselves, or that we tell. I can't remember what I actually said what did I say in this one here? We become the stories we repeatedly tell. There you go. Because this is true, because we keep on telling the stories of how our lives are, and this is what happened to me, and then our lives fit that model, that belief system that we have, and we can change that by just changing the stories that we tell people. So, for example, and you'll have known this, you'll know people. Yeah, sorry about that. My my phone is trying to do a software update. So you'll know people in your life who are negative and down, and I'm pretty sure I used to be one of those people, and I still am in places. You asked me about my love life, I'll be pretty down and miserable about that. If you ask me about my business and my success, my income situation, I'll be pretty down about that. I'll be sort of realistic, or I think I'll be being realistic at least anyway. And it's like, this is just how things have been. This is the story from the past. But I've talked about this before about that being the reasons why things happened in the past, and then the danger, of course, is using those reasons going forward and changing them into excuses. So we need to be careful about doing that, of course. But yeah, so that becomes the story, that our lives become the stories that we repeatedly tell. So if we tell miserable stories about our lives, then our lives become miserable because we see all the misery around us if we start looking for it, because we have this kind of belief inside ourselves that we always tell these negative stories. We're always telling people about these negative parts of our lives, the things that don't quite work out the way they were supposed to, and we have to find more versions of that and more examples of that in our lives to be able to prove that that's how our life is. So when people ask me about my love life, for example, and I say yeah I'm single, and they say, oh well, why are you single? You're such a nice guy and decent uplift, body and stuff. Decent body. That's not quite what I meant to say, but that works too. You saw the photographs I sent yesterday. That looks pretty good. And I don't know, I just found it really hard to meet people, and I don't know, for some reason I feel like people just don't find me sexy. I don't know why. He seems to be the way. I fall into that friend zone way too easily, and it's quite frustrating. But that's a story I've been telling pretty much my whole life, really. And I do wonder when I sometimes hear these things that I add coming out of my mouth to other people, how much they reflect back on me and my own stories. So, of course, it's really difficult though if you're trying to project stories of positivity, and you don't really have many stories of positive. Well, again, this is interesting, isn't it? Because here I am doing a bit of introspection here and thinking about my own life a little bit. I'm just going to twist around a little bit so you get a slightly better view of the background behind me, because there are positive stories. I've had lots of really lovely girlfriends who I've got on very well with, and many of whom I'm still friends with. Claire was my first girlfriend. She lives in Australia now with her husband, who she met at university after we broke up, because she went to Edinburgh University and I stayed down in Essex for work. And she's got 2 lovely boys now. I can't remember the other one's name, but one of them is called John, which is quite interesting. Had to adopt those. I'm sure there are others that I forget, but then there was Pippa, who I was really good friends with, and I was really good friends with her sister, Debbie. And then Debbie gave birth to Poppy, and I'm now friends with Poppy, who is now, 22 or something, and living in New Zealand, I think, at the moment. So yeah, still good friends with Pippa, although I don't speak to her hugely often, but that was a really good relationship I had down in Poole in Dorset. So that's a good experience. And it was lovely to meet Debbie, the artist, and seeing how they lived their lives down there. It was kind of fabulous. That whole thing. We had some good parties and had some good times. And then there was, I probably missed a few people. Annabelle, who I had an amazing few weeks with, and really thought this is the one. This is going to be amazing. And it just didn't quite work out at the end, but I still think, well, that could have been beautiful. Why am I talking about my love life? I don't know. I suppose what I'm doing is I'm showing that even though we broke up and I haven't had that many relationships, and I've been single a lot more often than I've been in relationships, I have had some really good relationships. And Karen was amazing. She was like basically my soulmate, really, on so many levels. It kind of felt right, but it just wasn't quite the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with and grow old with. But again, we would still be good friends, but she's now married to somebody else, and couldn't stay friends in that situation. That's okay, these things happen. But should she ever come back and say, hey John, how you doing? I'll be very happy to welcome back in and talk to her again. It'd be lovely. Rachel was amazing experience as well, in the times when it was good, but there were some horrible times as well. But let's not talk about the horrible times. Let's talk about the really good times. We had some fantastic parties together, shared some amazing experiences, had a fantastic trip around Europe, despite one moment of madness that happened while we were out there. We went to Bratislava, and then we took the boat up the Danube to Vienna, Vienna, and then we flew across to Madrid, and then back to England. And I was working in all these places, apart from Bratislava. So we just did the sort of touristy things in between the work gigs I had sorted out down there. So that was fantastic, really lovely experience. And then of course I met Chance on the Camino. I'm sure I've missed out some really important people, but anyway, I met Chance on the Camino. So I had 10 days with her. That was fantastic. And then obviously I met Bros after that, and that was amazing few weeks with her and her 2 girls. Still really good friends with Ros. She met a lovely man now who she seems very happy with, so that's all cool. Chance went on to get married, as you may know from the stories, after she came back from the Camino, went back to America and married Eric. Eric said thank you to me for helping her out, other things. So you just all these wonderful stories of my love life. And then just recently I reconnected with Tanya, who I'd originally asked out in 2009, and then we finally went on a date in February in 2020, and it was absolutely lovely. Again, it was. I wish we'd dated many years ago. I mean, we may not have turned into anything special, but I almost certainly think we would have probably gone out for a year, maybe 2 years or something like that before we finally went, this isn't quite working out. Hello, good morning, Julia and Sana, by the way. Thanks for watching. I'm just going through much of my love life, telling positive stories about my love life. At least that's what I'm thinking about. Because we become the stories that we continuously tell or repeatedly tell. And I repeatedly tell the story of being single and not being in a relationship. And I realise that that's maybe perpetuating the singledom and the singleness. Whereas if I maybe spoke more often about the fantastic relationships that I have had in the past, then maybe that would lead towards meeting somebody for whom things would work out. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway. But yeah, think about your life. What are the negative stories you tell in your life? And how could you tell a more positive version of that story? And could you find the positives even amongst the negative stuff and tell that story instead of the negative story, and therefore change your life to be more positive more negative? I said at the beginning here that there are people that we know in our lives who always tell the negative stories. They always, oh, woe is me, oh, this terrible things happen, blah, 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 blah. And you just kind of don't want to hang out with them because you know there's always going to be a negative story. But if they could just change that round and start telling some more positive stories about their lives, maybe they wouldn't sign all the negative stories. But of course they become this person who tells these negative stories all the time. So therefore they kind of expect to tell these negative stories. And then they start looking for the negative stories to be able to tell the next time they meet somebody. Oh, let me tell you about this negative story, this terrible thing that's happened to me, because I have to prove to you that terrible things constantly happen to me. As opposed to just switching that around and saying, you know what, I'm going to be a person who tells positive, lovely stories all the time. Like my travels here to the Isle of Skye, this beautiful little place that I'm sitting in right now. Amazing thing. It was pouring rain this morning. I went out with my raincoat on and got very, very hot. And I went all the way down to the other end of the island. Some absolutely beautiful places down there, little cove I found. Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, be careful of the stories you tell, because you will become the stories that you repeatedly say. Anyway, there you go. That's all from me for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that little message. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to give you some love here. I have a pizza oven here. There we go, pizza oven. There we go. It's not used yet. I'm going to pop the thing up. There we go. Give you some. Oh, love from there. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful. Mwah, mwah. Have an amazing day, everybody. And I will see you tomorrow, probably from the same location, maybe a slightly different view, with some other words of wisdom that I figure out tomorrow. And I'm going to go and have a shower now. Take care, guys. Bye for now. Have a lovely day.